Hi everyone! First of all, I just wanted to say I'm super happy and super proud that you decided to be responsible and check out the blog for more information on what is expected of you to have completed by Monday and Tuesday when you return to school from your hopefully rested weekend. Okay, so what you're going to be doing over the weekend is you're going to be writing your body paragraphs for your literary analysis. We had a bit of confusion in class, so I'm using this time to just make sure I clear up any misconceptions we might have. And by posting this video, hopefully you'll find it helpful, and maybe I can do it in the future again for another lesson if you find it that it's a great assistance for you or a resource for you, so that you can go back and you can listen once again to directions or examples or anything like that in case you missed it in class. So first of all, I want to say you can do it, okay? Please do not doubt yourself. You all are super smart, you're amazing students and individuals, and I know you are capable, so please keep that in mind when you're writing. It might seem overwhelming, I understand. 8-sentence paragraphs seems like a lot, okay? But just make sure that you remember that before we ever showed you the serial format, that you were basically already writing them, okay, without knowing. So don't let that confuse you. Make sure that you know that you can do it. Please remember that. It's the most important thing is if you have that confidence in yourself that you can do something, although it might be difficult for you to do, trust me, you can get through it. I know you can, okay? So now, we are going to take this time to break down the format of the paragraph. What is expected for you to do? How are you going to be successful in doing that? First of all, you have 2 body paragraphs. The first body paragraph is going to be dedicated to explaining the theme, obsessing over power leads to arrogance and destruction in the myth of Cronus. That's body paragraph number 1, okay? Body paragraph number 2 is how the theme is conveyed or communicated in The Lightning Thief, specifically pages 361 through 369. If you need to reread those, I definitely suggest that you do in case you need any type of clarification, okay? Now, the way we're going to break down these paragraphs, super simple. You have your claim. We know that our claim tells the reader what they are going to read. What is the purpose of this paragraph? Why is it important? That is the claim, okay? So, for example, paragraph number 1, your claim is going to be about a titan who was cruel and did what he needed to do in order to achieve the ultimate power, okay? Make a sentence out of that idea. Now, following the claim, you're going to be providing an example. When was a time that he decided to really do something awful in order to achieve power? And we know what this time was. This time was when his mother asked him to save his brothers from the pit and go against his father. We are completely aware of that. We understand that. We can do it. You're just going to write one sentence. One sentence that tells the reader what is going on. So think about it this way. What is happening, who's involved, and why is it happening, okay? Following the first example, you're going to be providing evidence number 1. The evidence number 1 is the one that supports your example. You have to remember that I'm going to pretend like I never read Cronus, although I've read it well over 10 times, and I should probably know it by heart. Forgive me, I have not learned it by heart, okay? Now, the reason for the example is that if you just put a piece of evidence in there, I will have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, so make sure the example is clear and that it tells me what your evidence is going to support. Okay, so following the example, you'll provide your evidence. And your evidence is going to be found on your graphic organizer, which is on page 113 in your student journal. If you did not have your student journal that day, I'm hoping that you find the paper that you drew a graphic organizer on, okay? Because that's really going to help you. You don't want to start all over. You've done all the hard work to get you here. Now, make sure that you get to that graphic organizer and you see reasoning. So our first reasoning is the evidence. Rewind. Our first detail. The detail is going to be your evidence that supports your first example, okay? Then, following your detail or your evidence, you're going to provide reasoning. Your reasoning is your thoughts about that evidence, okay? Everything is there. You don't have to think, you don't need to find a new piece of evidence. You need to find new reasoning. You have it there already, okay? Just remember that when you are reasoning evidence, you are not restating the evidence and you are not putting the evidence in your own words. The purpose of reasoning evidence is to show that you understand what is being explained or what is being said in the story. And this is your chance to really show how strong you are at making inferences and how you can expand your thinking. Following the reasoning, you're going to provide a second example. This second example is going to be telling the reader what is the other thing that Cronus decided to do in order to achieve power. We know that he swallowed his babies because he feared that that one day one of them will overrule him. Okay, so we know that what he did destroyed his family. Okay. So following the example, once again, provide your evidence, which is your second detail on the graphic organizer, and then your reasoning, which is your second thought about this detail. Now, remember that because this is a video, you can go back and rewind if you need to listen to the directions again, okay? So the serial goes like this. Claim, evidence, reasoning, evidence, another reasoning, and then link. The link is what brings everything back to the claim, okay? You need to make sure that you can tie all your ideas back together. That is super important. Now, body paragraph number 2 is going to be how the theme is conveyed or communicated, once again, however, in the lightning thief. So you need to remember in your claim, the most important thing that you bring up is how there is a demigod who is willing to betray his friend, who's willing to deceive a mentor, and who decides to follow Kronos in order to achieve power, okay? Once again, you have your example. The first example is how he deceived Chiron or Chicharron or Chicharito, whatever his name is, okay? You guys know what I'm talking about. He decided to lie to him and make sure that he had his fear confirmed that Hades is really after Percy. He wants Percy to be in danger and he wants Percy to die. We know that. Make sure that you refer back to Graphic Organizer, which is on page 115 in your student journal. This is very important because, once again, you've done all the hard work, no reason to start over. Detail number 1 is your evidence that supports what he did. Your reasoning, thoughts about that detail. Once again, you will provide a second example, which will show how, let's take a little step back. The first example is going to show how Luke is arrogant, and then the second example is going to talk about how obsessing over power leads to destruction. This is a little bit tricky because it talks about Luke and Kronos. So we know that Kronos is using Luke. And because he's using Luke, Luke is convinced that he's gonna be a part of Kronos' team and that they're gonna have a chance to destroy the Western civilization because, according to Kronos, Western civilization is not a good thing. But we know that if Kronos takes power once again, everything is just back to a very chaotic place, and the advancement is just no more. Okay, so your second example is going to be about how Kronos wants to get rid of the Olympians and put the humanities humans back in caves where they can be once again lost, hopeless, helpless, and just needing once again to rely on someone, which would be Kronos, which he would then have the advantage of manipulating them once again. Okay, so we got to keep that in mind. Following your example, you're going to provide your evidence, which is once again on Graphic Organizer, page 115. Your thoughts about the example, your thoughts about the evidence is your reasoning. Then link it all back up to the claim. Okay? I want to make sure that we have a really great understanding about what we're doing. You will see pictures of the charts on the blog. You will see the purpose of each sentence on the blog. I just want to make sure we're successful. I know you guys can do it, and I need you all to really firmly believe that you can do it, okay? You can. It's difficult, but you can do it. I know you can. You're fully capable. You're super smart students. You just need to believe in yourself, okay? So remember, behind me it says, you are important. You are brave, okay? You can do this. So, any extra questions, feel free to email me. Please remember that this hard work deserves to be seen. So make sure you bring your work with you Monday and Tuesday so that we can type it out and we know what we're doing, okay? Remember, any questions, please come, I would say see me, but you can't. So please email me. Don't feel afraid to email me, comment on the blog, ask questions. I will do my best to get to those questions as soon as possible. And let's make sure that we use this as a reference. And I just hope that you all know that you can rely on me, okay? I will continue to do videos of lessons that I have seen that are a little bit confusing. Hopefully that's a help to you all. We can see how it worked after this assignment. Make sure that you believe in yourself, because I believe in you. I really, truly do. I love being your teacher, and I'm super excited to read your final drafts of your literary analysis papers, because I'm gonna get all of yours, right? Yeah. All right. I will see you Monday and Tuesday. Please continue to be the best you that you can be. Enjoy your weekend.